All right, guys, what's up?
What's up? What's up, Julius?
All right, we are doing the Backlash preview. Again, I have not kept up with the show, so I don't really know what's going on, but I'm going to try my best. Give my predictions. All right, first we're going to go with singles match. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Let's see. Last time I saw Smackdown, they did that angle where, Hardy's car had hit Elias, which I think Elias was, I think he's going to be out for a couple of months, I believe, with an injury. So that was a way to write him off. And something that a witness said that they saw a guy taking his car. He had red hair and red beard.
You want the update before you make a prediction, Julio?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
So tonight, what happened was Sheamus said before he accept the challenge from Jeff Hardy, Jeff Hardy needs to do a public drug test.
Kind of like what Shawn Michaels did.
And supply a sample, a urine sample.
Oh, my God.
And he supplied a urine sample live in front of everybody. He peed in the middle of the ring. They covered it, of course, with a black curtain. And then he took the urine and he said, well, Sheamus, I don't know. I think he said, like, a wise man once told me, it's better to be pissed off than to be pissed on. I don't think he said pissed on, but he said than to be. And then he threw piss at Sheamus.
Yeah, so that was clearly a knockoff of the Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon. That was pretty cool.
It's an homage. Homage.
So now you can make your prediction.
An homage. Sorry, excuse me.
Homage.
An homage, not a ripoff.
No, sir.
No such things as ripoffs in wrestling. Everything has been done 500 times.
You're right.
It's only a matter of whether somebody did it justice.
Whether it's good or not, that's all that matters.
That's the debatable part.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
So who you got, Julio? Who you like?
I need to fix my vocabulary there. So I mean, I don't care at this point. If I go just to keep the feud going, I'll probably go with Sheamus on this one.
Yeah, I mean it's the first match of the feud, so it'll probably be Sheamus in some underhanded way. So that's not what I want, because I kind of just want this to be over. Like Sheamus, I'm already over Sheamus. I don't know what's going on. I really like Sheamus, like, and I'm already over him. But no, it's probably not him. It's probably this angle. But yeah, I think Sheamus is gonna win so that they can keep it going.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see how to have Jeff Hardy win this match. I mean, there could be a way for Jeff Hardy to win this match and then have Sheamus get heat on him, afterwards. But I think that in this case, I would pick Sheamus as well to win, only because Sheamus, in all honesty, Sheamus needs a big win, and I think this would definitely qualify. So yeah, I'll pick Sheamus to win. He's going to cheat, which is fine. He's not going to beat Jeff Hardy clean, but it's a way to keep the story going. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next match we have let's see here. We have the U.S. title match. Apollo Crews versus Andrade. This is another feud that I feel has been dragging on, and this is probably going to be the climax, because I feel Andrade is going to be probably heading up into the main event scene. So this is going to be a very good match. I think it's going to be a good match, and I see just Crews just keeping the title. I don't think they're going to drop the title. I don't think Vince McMahon is going to wake up Sunday morning and say, goddamn, pal, I think now we're going to take the title off Crews out of just nowhere and shit. So, yeah, no, I got Crews on this one.
Yeah, I think Crews is also going to win. I don't like that it's against Andrade. Like, hasn't he already beat him a bunch of times, it feels like? It feels like he's pinned him twice or three times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's dragged on, this feud.
Right.
He's only beaten him 36 times on TV at this point.
Yeah, so Andrade's been pinned by Crews a shitload of times. So now we're going to do it on a bigger scale, I guess, to make sure everybody understands that Andrade, whatever. I mean, like Julio said, Andrade's probably going to move towards the main event, but you got to do just a tiny bit of rehab. I hope they don't just squeeze him into the main event without him earning anything.
I agree.
Because he's been losing like crazy.
I do agree on that.
But yeah, I think Cruz is gonna win. I think WWE's thinking about putting a bunch of uh black athletes like you know on in the spotlight, and given he's already has a title, the New Day have a title. I think they're gonna keep that going. I think we're gonna see a few more black champions in the future.
It's funny to me. It's like I'm a little torn here on this one. I'm going to actually go the other way. I'm going to pick Andrade to win, only for this reason. The reason why I'm picking Andrade to win is because with the news this week of Paul Heyman no longer being the head writer on Raw,
Yep.
this might be a matter of Vince McMahon deciding that he may want to do a rewrite on some of the things that have gone on. I don't think this would be the best fit for Apollo Crews. Smart money is that Apollo Crews retains. But I have a feeling that Andrade is going to end up winning this match and he's going to get another run with the title. Only because it seems like right now with Crews as a babyface, he doesn't seem to have enough heat on him at all to be able to make those matches interesting. And Andrade is a very, very, highly touted performer, and he's got a lot of good heel heat. The presentation with him and Garza and Selena Vega together, it's a great package. So I got a feeling I'm going to pick Andrade on this one. It's a pick 'em in my opinion, but I'm going to take Andrade.
I like that with the whole Paul Heyman thing because he's one of the guys that Paul Heyman was pushing for. So let's see.
Yeah, man. I hope I'm wrong, but because it would really be devastating for Apollo Crews because he really does need to continue winning, but at the expense of Andrade, that's the reason why I'm like, I didn't like the fact that Andrade won that triple threat match. But, when it was against Garza and Kevin Owens, it's kind of like, if it's Kevin Owens, Kevin Owens is a babyface. I hate the babyface versus babyface matches. I don't like them. With Garza's not there yet. Even though Garza would have been a new opponent and no one would have blinked an eye had Crews beaten him. But, we'll keep the ball rolling and see what happens.
Yeah, no, I agree. Next match, I believe the Smackdown, the women's Smackdown tag team match. The Best Friends, Bayley and Sasha versus the returning Iconics versus, I'm sorry, who were the other?
Alexa and
Alexa Bliss.
Oh my God! And the former champions, the other Best Friends, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. This is another match kind of thrown together, with the returning Iconics. It's going to be a lot of high flying. I was kind of throwing this match to the side. I really didn't care too much about this match, but I feel it's going to be a good match, a good back and forth match. I don't see Bayley or Sasha dropping the titles either. I just think this was a match that was just put together and it's kind of like a placeholder for now. I don't see any new tag team champions. I don't see Nikki and Cross winning this one. I sure as hell don't see the Iconics winning either. So I see them keeping the belts on. Oh my God, I forgot their names. Bayley and Sasha.
Yeah, I think only because Bayley and Sasha literally just won. I kind of want the belts on the Iconics, but Bayley and Sasha they literally just won, so I don't like the whole, winning the title just to lose it a month later. I kind of hate that.
That's era, man.
Yeah, I mean it's fine with the right story, but
it makes sense, yeah.
I mean, unless now they're gonna pull the trigger on this angle with Sasha and Bayley, which if they didn't pull it around WrestleMania, they're not gonna pull it now. I think they're gonna wait for fans. So there's no reason to take the title off them. This is just let's go out there, have some fun, see if I want to see the Iconics have a good performance. They've been looking a lot better lately, so let's see if they can get over in a loss. But I'm hoping Nikki and Alexa take this pin. I want the Iconics to do well.
Yeah, I mean this match actually has a lot of heat to it, believe it or not, because WWE's been doing a good job of promoting all three teams in this story over the better part of the last 4 or 5 weeks. So they've done a good job with this. Realistically, I don't see Sasha Banks and Bayley losing the titles either, and it's just because of the fact that the story has to continue being told. Now this match, The thing about this match is that I don't like the idea of Alexa Bliss or Nikki Cross taking another loss just because they've lost so many matches on TV recently. That again, it's like if you're gonna lose, you could beat somebody with a roll up. You don't have to hit them with a finish and beat them emphatically. You can sneak a win in. You could do that on one of the Iconics. It doesn't matter. It's not a you don't have to look strong winning because that's not the intention. All three teams have good heat, and in all honesty, yes, Bailey and Sasha are going to retain the titles here. I believe it's continuing to tell their story and have that whole chummy chummy friendship thing going. But once they lose the titles at some point, then that's when the tension builds. But it's not time yet for that story. So for that reason, Bailey and Sasha retain.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna stay with the women's. We're gonna go with the women's. The Raw Women's Championship. Asuka versus not Bacha Jax, as I like to call her now. She's not Nia anymore. She's known as Bacha Jax. Again, another match that it's so predictable. Asuka's gonna win. I don't see being a squash, contrary to what a lot of people feel, due to the fact that Nia has been, hurting a lot of people, especially Kairi Sane. I also think that we're going to see a lot of interference. We're going to see interference from Charlotte. We're going to see some interference from Kairi Sane. And they're going to keep Nia strong. Even in a losing effort, I think they probably going to make it look like she had it won, and then Kairi Sane interferes or Charlotte interferes and then costs her the title. And then Nia just disappears for a while, or they really need to do something with her right now. She's just, she's a safety hazard right now. So them putting the title on her, it's a big mistake. So my end result, Asuka, she's the hottest female in WWE TV right now. There's nobody hotter than her. So I don't see them taking the title off her. I also see them maybe building her up to having her rematch with Charlotte at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Julio. Nia, not that, assuming that everyone's okay with the whole injury, hurting people, and no one cares. Let's assume it was an honest mistake every single time. I still don't see Nia. She's championship material, but not under these circumstances.
Yeah, agree.
Now let's say if all the heels let's say if some like Becky's gone, she's not a heel, but Becky's gone, and now let's say if Bailey is off for a month and Asuka, is starting to cool down, and you need a champion, somebody else to go with it.
It'll be Nia.
She's like my seventh, eighth choice, which is fine. You could win the title as the seventh, eighth choice under the right circumstances. Yeah,
that's pretty deep on the line there, friend.
Hey, bro, if the four horsewomen are not available and Asuka's not available, okay, that's already five. And then a few of the NXT girls that I like that I feel are championship material if they were to come up to the main roster. I'm not ready for Nia to win. She can win the championship, but under the right circumstances, this is not it. Asuka, like Julio said, to me, she's the most entertaining girl.
She's the hottest.
She's the hottest girl. You could argue Charlotte's also as hot, but Charlotte is hot in a bad way. Like I want to do a whole show on Charlotte and how they booked her ridiculously. Like she's overexposed. And it hasn't helped not one person but her. And I don't even think it helps her. It doesn't help her if everyone is like, oh my God, I'm sick of Charlotte. I love Charlotte and I'm sick of Charlotte. I'm sick of Charlotte. I don't want to see her for a month. I don't want to see her get her out of. I don't want to see her win a title. Absolutely not. I don't want to see her in the main event picture. Absolutely not. I wanted to see her get pinned at the NXT show. That didn't happen. Anyway, enough of Charlotte. But either way, I got Asuka winning this. And she deserves to stay champ for shit. She should hold it till Mania. Well, in my opinion.
I hit you with the whip, sir, talking about Charlotte like that. But you are right. You are correct.
Well, I mean, in regards to Charlotte Flair, I mean, the reason, the WWE really exposes her. I mean, although Bayley and Sasha Banks have done a fantastic job as heels on SmackDown, they really, really have. I honestly think that with WWE, part of the reasoning why with, booking Charlotte Flair the way they did over the last recent months has been a matter that for the 2 years prior to that, Charlotte Flair was not featured nearly as heavily. She was around, but not really in the main mix. So that there
Probably
might,
won 5 championships during that title, during that reign that you're talking about, Lou.
but what I'm saying is that when you really take a look at the positions that she's been in, she's not the person who was drawing money. She was working with the person who was drawing money. So that's the reason why I'm saying that in that period, now they're heavily featuring her. And I think that there may have been other plans. Becky Lynch now being out, now it puts more emphasis on Charlotte Flair. Again, I could agree to a certain part. She is overexposed, but we got to be able, not necessarily to cool her down, but kind of place her, put her somewhere and have her be somewhat semi-exclusive to a particular show, because to put her on all 3 shows circulating at the same time and she's on 3 times a week, yeah, you're right. It does get a little, it gets tiresome.
Trust me, we're going to do an episode on this. Save it. We're going to do an episode because it's been ridiculous.
Okay, that's fine.
We can talk about Charlotte for 5 hours. I'm sure of it.
All right. So now let's get back to on track here. Nia Jax against Asuka. Listen, Asuka's going to win this match. Now, is it going to be a squash? Absolutely not. Do I see outside interference? Actually, no, I don't. I don't see, because the thing is
clean. Okay.
Well, here's the reason why. To have anybody come and assist Asuka, especially Charlotte Flair, believe it or not, makes Asuka the heel. Because Charlotte Flair's a heel, why would she help Asuka? Because basically what you're telling us is that Nia Jax, the heel, is too much woman for Charlotte Flair to compete against. And Charlotte Flair, her character is she's the best female wrestler in the world, no matter opponent. So I don't see anybody interfering this match. This is going to be a match where Nia Jax is going to get her stuff in. She's going to put the boot to Asuka, and Asuka's going to take a butt whipping. She is. But what's going to end up happening is that Asuka's going to find a way. Because if you're going to be the hottest babyface, you can't have the hottest babyface winning with outside interference. That's the worst way to win. Especially with somebody like Nia Jax, who her physical stature and the way that she looks is the biggest part of her character in terms of imposing a threat. From a skills perspective, we can debate that. That's totally fine. I don't think that she's going to be able to, Asuka's got more movement in the ring, and there might be some communication. She is bigger than Kairi Sane, but just about everyone is. So I think the match will be good. Both women will get their stuff, and Asuka's going to win. She's not going to get any outside interference. There's no point in having Kairi Sane interfere in this match, because in all honesty, Kairi Sane is, to have her interfere on Asuka's behalf, again, it's like it's confusing the audience. It's like if Asuka's the babyface, Asuka needs to win clean. Nia Jax will make a mistake, and that's gonna draw the submission win, because she's gonna beat her by submission. She's not gonna pin her. It's gonna be a submission win. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. The next match is for the Universal title match.
Boy.
Oh boy, I don't really know what to say about this match. This
horrible.
This should be a 2 to 5 minute match with Braun Strowman. Look at me. With Braun Strowman just destroying these guys. Let Miz and Morrison get a couple of offensive moves in there, but Strowman completely dominate this match and end it between 2 to 5 minutes. Just no way anybody could think that Miz and Morrison is going to win. Another predictable match. Strowman wins this in easy fashion. 2 to 5 minutes. Don't need to go any more than that.
Yeah, I think Julio's right.
Oh,
That's not what I would do. Strowman is a cold champion who should have never been champion in the first place. And anytime there's a 2-on-1, especially if it's two guys, like you're telling me two athletes, two fighters or whatever, assuming everything is real, right? Let's just
All things being equal.
yeah. Two grown-ass men, it doesn't matter how big that other guy is, will beat the shit out of him. It doesn't matter how big Strowman is. In a real fight, Miz and Morrison, looking at Morrison, he might be able to kick Strowman's ass on his own. You know? He's a super athlete. Oh, yeah.
oh yeah.
All you got to do is watch MMA. All you got to do is watch a Brock Lesnar fight in MMA.
That's right.
No.
A guy 50 pounds lighter beat the shit out of him.
Or Piper and Kevin Nash.
I'll give my position as to why. I'm going to tell you why. Once I get my turn to talk, I'll tell you why I wouldn't believe that for a second.
I mean, either way, if these are all super athletes that work in the WWE in this, in this imaginary world, and you put two against one, Miz being a former heavyweight champion, and if you look at Morrison next to Miz, he looks better than the Miz, and it's 2 against 1. They should win every time. That's not what's gonna happen. It's gonna be exactly what Julio said. It's gonna be a 2-minute, 3-minute. That's not what it should be. That's not what it should be. Not against two guys. They should have just picked one. They should have picked one. A 2-on-1. You don't recover from that. 2-on-1s, like Strowman beating the shit, making you look like a jobber. Two guys, they're not gonna recover from that.
Established guys.
Yeah, two guys. Morrison should be fighting for a title. As soon as he came back,
That's right.
Morrison has been a big star in every single company. WWE is the only one that look at him and go, "Oh, I don't know, he's too pretty." Like I don't get it. You can't find a way to. I don't know. Morrison should be.
Morrison is so underrated.
He looks like $1 million.
I have his abs, for crying out loud.
Like he's tall enough, he's shredded enough, he has enough weight behind him, he has the skill in the ring. Like I know he's missing something. We've talked about this before.
Promo.
That doesn't mean you should feed him with somebody else. Miz and Morrison have been contributing to the show in a positive way. It could have been one. Strowman could have beat the shit out of one, then fight the other one at the next pay-per-view, beat the shit out of him, and keep Strowman rolling. Now you make an eye-rolling match. It's an eye-rolling match for me. It's going to be a 2-minute squash for Strowman. I'm not going to care. I'd be more interested in seeing these two guys argue about who should carry the Universal Championship around if they were champions. I'd be more interested in that.
All right, Lou. Your turn to bitch.
This match is going to be awful. It's going to be awful.
Didn't I just say that? It is.
Yeah, I know. I'm just repeating.
Oh,
you could call me Xerox. I'm just copying what you're saying, but
it is awful.
Listen, the reason why this match is, I hate the fact, and again, I don't like when anybody puts established tag teams in a 2-on-1 situation. And listen, Braun Strowman is 300, guy. He's just, I don't know what, 10 pounds shy of 400 pounds. He's a huge man, and he looks like he can legit kill somebody with his hands if he wanted to. Now, with Miz and Morrison, part of the reason why I'm okay with those guys being there in that spot is because although yes, they have been contributing positively to SmackDown, and they've been, I'm going to use the word, they've been entertaining, but entertaining in a way that to me is very indicative of why I don't like Miz and Morrison. As much as I respect them as athletes, and they're remarkable for their career runs, Miz has been in WWE forever, and then Morrison and all the places that he's worked throughout his career. The thing is about those two guys is that those two guys are playing wrestler, and they're not really wrestlers. They don't look, at least to me, when I see them, they don't translate like they're badasses, like they're truly tough guys. They look like they're nice guys who are good actors, great athletes, and can do the physical stuff in the ring. But if it came down to a real fight, all things being equal, I don't see them winning. That's the reason why I could never believe any of those two guys really giving Strowman a run for his money. Do I want this to be a squash match? No. It should be somewhat competitive, because if it's a 2-minute squash match, then the whole purpose of this is gone. Because Strowman's not going to look any better, and you've basically killed Miz and Morrison. You've killed them. They can show up the next week, beat the New Day, be the tag team champions, and it's meaningless. So even though they're going to lose, because they are going to lose, but they got to have some level. At some point, the story has to be able to make some kind of sense to where you can halfway believe that there is some chance that Strowman may lose, even though truly deep down inside there's no way it's going to happen. But the way you tell the story is you got to make it partway believable, because it has nothing to do with Strowman. This actually has to do with how do you get out of this match without killing Miz and Morrison. That's the story of this match. It's not about getting Strowman over, because Strowman is not over, and he's not going to get over at the end of this night. No matter how they structure the match, he's not going to get over any more than he currently is, or isn't.
I think it can be done, but you gotta execute. Someone has to just convince whoever's in charge, Vince, hey man, let them tell this story. Story should be Strowman obviously starts hot, right? Is getting a lot of offense, but eventually this numbers game has to catch up. I'm assuming they're both going to be in the ring at the same time.
No, they're gonna be tagging.
Did they say tagging in it?
Yeah, no. And in these matches, is always tagging in and out. It's not a.
Well, that's horrible. But either way, they can find a way to get an advantage, and once they get that advantage, it needs to be an ass whipping to Strowman, nonstop. Strowman needs to turn into Hulk Hogan, 1991, crying damn near, holding on to knee pads, and they need to beat the shit out of him. And Strowman needs the one that at the end gets the lucky break because Miz slips and falls, and then he finally gets one-on-one with somebody, and then he wins.
He gets too cocky.
That's not what's gonna happen though. I think it's gonna be a squash.
Yeah, I hope it's not. I hope it's not a squash match, because again, this match is not it's not about getting Strowman over. This is about how do you get out of it without killing Miz and Morrison. That's really what this match is about. It's going to stink. Don't get me wrong. It's going to stink. But I hope that I'm wrong, but I don't know. I
don't want to go too long on this match, but you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see The Fiend come out, hit Strowman with his finish, let the Miz get the pin, Miz and Morrison champions, and Strowman against The Fiend, Fiend, bury Strowman.
Oh, God.
Yes,
no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Listen, with all due respect, the Universal title can't be on two comedy wrestlers. That's what
it's already on a comedy wrestler. If you ask me, somebody who doesn't deserve it, it's laughable that Strowman is the champ. It's laughable.
Sir. No, sir. Braun Strowman may not be over, but he's certainly not a comedy wrestler.
He's not a comedy wrestler, but it's a joke that he has the championship.
Debatable. We could debate that another time.
Yeah. All right. Next, another championship match. The WWE Championship. Drew versus Lashley. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. I have Drew winning. I really don't see anywhere else until Victor mentioned about, what are the chances that WWE can do a little thing and have nothing but black champions. So we got to keep that in mind. That's one. And two, I think WWE is trying to start a new stable and maybe start it out with a heel champion in Bobby Lashley. Maybe they can turn Apollo Crews and have him join and have some sort of like a black stable and have them dominate due to the fact, what's going on in our world right now, with Black Lives Matter. But it could happen. Who knows? But, my prediction, Drew McIntyre it's like Asuka. He's red hot right now, and I don't think there's no point of taking the title off him right now. If Lashley wins, they could probably build the rematch for SummerSlam with a crowd, hoping that there probably is a crowd. But end result, I see Drew McIntyre winning this one.
Yeah, I think if under normal circumstances, uh, there being a crowd, um, COVID never happened, then Drew just gets the big win in a good competitive match. I think Lashley's gonna win. I really do, and I think it's a better story if he wins because right now McIntyre, I'm already like bored. I'm already bored. Like I don't know. I think his story, the way it unfolded, at first I thought it didn't matter when when we were discussing it, and I was like, oh, it's not gonna matter. It's cool. He should win at Mania, and I'm happy he won at Mania. But I'm ready for his next chapter. I kind of want him to chase the belt again. I want a monster heel again. I want Lashley to turn into a monster heel, look unstoppable, and now let's tell the Rocky and Apollo Creed story, and let Lashley look very serious, very scary, very dominant, and have Drew chase him and beat him, and get that second reign. That's what I'd like to see.
If they decide to do that.
You know what? I think they're gonna go for it. I think that they chose Lashley for a reason. So I'm gonna go with Lashley. In a normal world, yes, Drew would win, and this would not even be a topic of discussion in my head. But I think they're gonna take a chance.
Yeah. Lewis, please, your turn.
No, I don't think so, bro. I think here that the story that has to be conveyed here again. This is a tough match. Does Drew McIntyre lose this match? Absolutely not. No. I mean, listen, I don't think that WWE would, with the Black Lives Matter movement, I don't think that WWE is gonna rewrite all their creative and put their titles on all the black wrestlers. That would be a phenomenal historical event to happen, but I don't think that it doesn't make sense to telling the stories going forward. Now, do I think that Bobby Lashley wins this match? No, because what ends up happening is the payoff is too quick. It's always like, where do we go from here? The idea would be is that if you have the heel chasing after, this is not a match where Bobby Lashley needs to lose emphatically. In fact, if either one of these guys were to win, particularly Drew McIntyre, if he's to hit him with the Claymore and beat him clean, that's the lousiest way for him to win. He has to win in some lucky fashion, or for some reason, I don't know why, but Bobby Lashley would be so stupid that he'd get himself disqualified. Because there has to be a way to get out of this match without either guy really getting hurt. I don't think it's way too soon to take the title off of Drew McIntyre. Listen, he's been fantastic as the champion, and especially under these COVID-19 situations with no crowd. His interviews are his promos are the best ones that are cut on WWE TV. He's engaging. He's, everything that he does, whether it's serious or semi-comedic, it comes across. He's doing a fantastic job. And listen, as much as I love MVP being Bobby Lashley's mouthpiece, I don't necessarily know if having the first match that they have against each other, having Lashley win the title, makes much sense. I don't like any kind of hot potato with the title, especially the world title. So I don't know exactly how this match is going to end, but I don't see Bobby Lashley winning the championship. Drew McIntyre somehow, some way is going to retain. Whether it's a matter that even Drew McIntyre gets overzealous and gets himself disqualified, but somehow, some way, he's walking out of there with the title. He's not going to lose this weekend.
Yeah. Well, wait and see. I mean, I kind of agree with Vic. Like, it could happen, but I don't see it happening.
Oh, it could, absolutely. The match has been.
And when I say putting titles on a lot of, I didn't say they can't put the title. They can't put every title across all shows because there's so many titles. It's too many titles to do that. But you can do 3 titles. They can do 3 titles, 4 titles. They can do something like that because in reality,
one brand.
Yeah, in reality, they already have, some of the pieces in place, but the one centerpiece would be Bobby Lashley. And even if this had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, forget Black Lives Matter for now. Let's just say that's not what that's not what's on the news right now.
Yeah.
And that's not an idea. You're in the business of creating stars, and if you're not ready to make Bobby Lashley a star, maybe you should have not rushed him to this situation, which they do all the time. But what I always say is, when you rush someone to this situation and they lose, that's it. They go back down to square one, and you're gonna have to work 10 times harder to get them over.
This is the reason why I'm saying that in this particular case, Bobby Lashley's not going to get pinned. Bobby Lashley, more than anything else, this is going to probably end up in some sort of disqualification. And because realistically, there's got to be a way to get out of this match without either guy losing. Like, no one can lose clean here. Unfortunately, this is one of those matches that should not be booked immediately, because I still think that Bobby Lashley still needs to be rebuilt. This character with MVP as his mouthpiece, I really enjoy it. And WWE's done a good job booking this version of Bobby Lashley over the last month or so. But it's way too soon to put him against the world champion. They've done it. So now it's a matter of how do we get out of it? Because Bobby Lashley cannot take the pin, and Bobby Lashley cannot beat Drew McIntyre, walk out of there with the title, because it's not a matter of, oh, well, can it happen? Of course it can happen. But all I'm saying is that I think that for Drew McIntyre is not a made man either. They're still building him. The title's being used as a prop to build him up. So if he essentially loses it in, basically in his first pay-per-view, or second pay-per-view championship match, no, doesn't make any sense. They got to be able to get out of this gracefully.
Oh boy. Hey guys, so we're down to the final match in this prediction. Not the main event. We'll wait and see. The greatest wrestling match ever of all time, whatever it's called. So,
I can't. Just can't.
Talk about having, the pedestal very, very, very high. So you're basically saying that this match is gonna outdo every Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker match. Bret Hart versus Steve Austin, Ricky Steamboat versus Ric Flair, Ric Flair versus Sting, John Cena and CM Punk, HBK and Chris Jericho, their famous ladder match of No Mercy. Every single Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania. God dang it. As far as who's gonna win, I don't know. I kind of pick Edge, and then I see them doing the rubber match at SummerSlam and Orton winning that match, or vice versa. Maybe Orton winning the match, yeah. But yeah. This is a lot of pressure. We're gonna wait and see what WWE does. Maybe they'll have a 45-minute match and they'll cut it down. Because I believe this pay-per-view
exactly what they're doing.
I think it was already it was pre-recorded already. So chances are that they probably worked an hour or so, and then they cut it down to maybe like 25 minutes. But yeah, my pick, I still have Edge. I think Edge is going to win this one.
Well, I think Orton's going to win it. But that doesn't really matter, right? The only thing that matters is, can they deliver on the promotional tactic? And this is all opinion based, right? The greatest match of all time.
Wrestling.
You could list 100 matches that might be the greatest match of all time, right? Because it's all subjective. It depends on what you like. It depends on how you were feeling that day. You watch the same match now, you might not feel the same way about it.
If you might not live up. Yeah, you're right.
But they do have a steep hill or mountain, should I say, to climb, because they don't have fans. I think Orton's going to win, so the babyface is not going to go over. Two things that automatically make the match even better, right? So if they have another match, it'll probably be better than this one, because they might have a crowd, and it'll be the blow-off. So it's going to be, the ending of the story is always the best part of the story if you do it right. I do think, since they probably, like Julio said, probably filmed 45 minutes to an hour of all their best stuff. They do have, all these great tactics to go with using emotion and their eyes and facials and all the stuff that they're both really, really good at. So they do have some tools that they can go to. And then it depends who's going to edit this match. I don't know who's going to be in that room. You're going to edit it?
I think Vince McMahon is going to be in that room.
I think Vince is going to be in that room.
If
and
Vince is going to be in that room. I'm predicting him.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if they say, hey, Edge, Orton, let's say Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Bruce Pritchard, maybe?
No, Bruce, no, thank you.
No Brucey.
Hey,
Okay.
Bruce, Vince, go out, go talk about another match.
Yeah.
Leave this to us, and let's see what happens. I think it'll be great. It'll be great no matter what. I do think it's going to be a great match. I'm pretty sure it won't be my favorite match of all time, but as long as it's a great match, I'll be happy. So, let's hope for that. But I got Orton winning.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat here. This match is gonna be great. It's really, really gonna be good. Now, I believe Randy Orton is gonna go over, and it's just because of the fact that Edge won the first match at WrestleMania, or the first fight. I don't, because it really wasn't a wrestling match, but it was the first fight. Edge won. Orton will win this one. They'll do the blow off whenever they do the blow off. So it's gonna be really, really good. I think that with Edge and Orton, they have so much chemistry and they're so good together, whether they're wrestling as opponents or as partners, that they're just able to really work very, very smooth. And the thing about it is that they're both really, really smooth tacticians in the ring in very different ways. Because Randy Orton, for all the criticisms that in the past that we've had about Randy Orton being boring or monotonous, his work in the ring is just silky smooth. Especially for a man of his size, being 6'5" and 240, 250, and he's it's all muscle. So to be able to move his body around the ring like that, not get hurt, not hurt other people, it's great. And I mean, Edge, Edge works a different style. His style is not as smooth, but it's more based on real emotion that he tells it with his eyes and his facials and his body language that really gets the crowd going. So I think that realistically, it's going to be a great match. Do I think it's going to be the greatest wrestling match ever? I'll take the under on that one, but I think that realistically, it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a lot of fun, and Orton will go over, and then we'll get one more match, and then hopefully we don't see these two guys wrestle each other anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be very heavy edited. It's going to be a very edited match. There's going to be a couple of spots in the match where, like, let's say like one of the wrestlers is supposed to be like on his knees, all of a sudden he's back on his feet, or he's like kind of squatting, and then next thing you know, he's on the floor. It's going to be edited just like that, and we're going to spot those.
I hope not, because
I hope not either,
that's
but I'm getting a feeling that we're going to see that.
Because if listen, if you're going to have a match, and let's just say they recorded, I'll go with your premise. They recorded 45 minutes to an hour worth of content. If you have any kind of holes that look like that, especially for production as like top notch as WWE's production is, that is a no-no.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give anybody, in any television production, I'll spot that and I'll give them heat for it. Yeah. I might give people less flack for it than others, depending on, okay, I got to grade them on a curve, but WWE does not get that benefit.
Yeah.
At all. You can't have a situation like that, because that's such a break in continuity that they do it even once, even a minuscule of that.
Yeah.
They've been editing some matches, and you can tell it's edited, but it hasn't been that crazy, like you said, Julio. It's like they'll just cut before a big bump.
Yeah,
they'll cut a different angle and then they'll cut back. So it's not something that's a bad cut. It looks.
Yeah, it's not like the ladder match at
exactly.
You could tell that match was heavily edited.
Oh, yeah.
It was edited. That match where you spotted, like, holy hey, he was on this side of the ring. Now all of a sudden he's on the floor. Like, what the hell? Or like if he was getting up and he had his arm in the ring, the next thing you know, he's already rolling in. Like stuff like that.
I think a lot of times those kinds of things happen when they do, let's say they're doing a move and then all of a sudden they go to a crowd shot. They generally do that in the
They
editing
generally do
process.
that in
They
tape
do,
shows.
they do it in the editing process. One is because they don't want the move, because if you stay to that pan shot, you're going to be able to see that you could be able to see the trick, how
Yeah.
they do it, and then it. I hate using this word. It'll look fake, and then it'll take you out of the match. Sometimes in a perfect world, in an ideal universe, they'll have another camera angle that makes the move look a little more devastating and it doesn't look as bad. If you don't have that shot, then you go to the crowd shot. It sucks. Yes.
I tell you what,
It's bad editing. I don't like it.
that's
But
another thing. Let's not even worry about editing. Just their production style, the way they cut, like Lou says, to hide moves, whatever.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons if you watch a New Japan match, you're like blown away because they don't cut. They literally go, camera 1, they'll hold it for 10 seconds. Okay, camera 4, they'll hold it for 10, sometimes 15 seconds.
Even if they make mistakes?
it's a different style.
I mean, they're not. I'm not talking about editing. I'm talking about when they're filming.
Oh, when they're
Live.
But the thing is, the wrestling matches that New Japan does are much more physical. So a lot of what's done, they do the same moves. Don't get me wrong, they do the same moves. It's just a matter that with the Japanese wrestling, New Japan, when they do their shows, the productions have really improved in terms of their cameras, and then they got like a full production thing. The difference is that their style is so much more physical that when they lay the shots in, they'll lay them in a lot more snug than they do in the WWE. So sometimes when you see those moves in WWE, if they kept the shot there, it's a little more see-through, and you'd be able to see that more.
It's a little more see-through if you're not a good worker.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
when you watch matches from good workers in other companies, they don't do the 500 cuts that WWE does, and the stuff looks good. I know Randy Orton and Edge stuff always looks good. They don't need 8,000 cuts, but I bet you this match, even if it was not edited at all, just the way, because they're still going to do the same process. Yes, they have all you got to do is watch their replays of matches. They don't change anything. The way it's like what do you say, live to tape or whatever.
Live to tape. Yep.
Yeah. So the cuts that they're making are the same cuts that are going to go, that we're going to see. They're just going to edit in between. They're going to chop it. They're just going to cut. They're going to cut from 30 seconds to 35 seconds, and you're not going to see what happened in the middle.
Yeah.
They're going to get rid of the grease in this match, the stuff that the fat, and they're going to keep all the good stuff.
Mhm.
But when it comes to having a great match, having all those cuts, cut, it is a huge distraction, and it's one of the reasons people don't necessarily love WWE matches. There's always good matches, but you hardly hear, that's the best match ever. You hardly hear stuff like that anymore. You used to hear it all the time back in the day.
Right. I think that may not necessarily be a WWE production thing as much as it is about just wrestling fans in general. Like, again, the bar's been raised so high that we see so many great wrestling matches on a regular basis that it almost seems like now the bar between what would have been considered a great wrestling match 30 years ago versus today, that those bars are much.
I think it depends. Because I don't think you need to do a bunch like yes, the cool whatever, these cool high spots that some people could do that some people can't, or big bumps, or real physical stuff that gets that gets fans going. But you don't need to do that. I mean, Daniel Bryan and AJ, that match that they've been talking about, they just had a great match.
And they told a good story.
But it was relatively simple. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was long.
Yeah.
It was. They gave them enough time to get to to tell whatever story they were going to tell. But what made it good is just their chemistry, right? They're both really crispy. There were no mistakes. I didn't see one. Everything looked perfect, pristine, so smooth. No hesitating, right? All the facials matched the action. Everything just felt good,
Those
I have to watch that match.
Think
Oh
about
no,
it.
yeah. If you don't watch anything,
it.
at least watch that match because you
I
know
have
who
to
those
get-
guys are.
Yeah, I have to work tomorrow morning, so I'll get up and I'll watch that match because I'm getting.
But talk about another problem for Edge and Orton, right? They filmed the match before this match. They probably should have filmed it after, or they should have aired this after, because now AJ and Brian just set a high ass bar for one of the better matches of the month or of this year, 2020, and it's literally a couple of days before the greatest match of all time.